Now let's move into types of analysis. Basically, types of analysis can be dependent on its unique purpose, the nature of the data, and the objective of the analysis. For example, we have descriptive analysis. Number one, descriptive analysis, its purpose is basically to summarize and describe the main features of a data set. I'll be explaining the data set as we go on into the other part of the class. Its method basically is used to measure the center of tendency, that is mean, median, mode, getting to understand the frequency distribution, the standard deviation, and other business statistical measures like that. And then its example usually includes having to get the average of the age of people, having to get the average of the income of a group of people, and all like that, So as we go on, we'll get more information about that. Now also we have inferential analysis, which this is used to make predictions about a population based on a sample. Its method includes hypothesis testing, regression analysis, confidence intervals, and all that. Examples is using sample survey data to estimate the proportion of people in a city who support a particular policy. That's an example. Now we have another type, that is diagnostic analysis, which is used to investigate the reasons behind past outcomes. Now, a method include root cause analysis, correlation analysis, and other diagnostic techniques. Now, this one basically function when you want to investigate a reason behind what have happened in the past. For example, analyzing why a company sales dropped last quarter, looking into a new quarter, especially when it comes to consumer behavior and production issues. Now, other types of analysis includes predictive analysis. Its purpose is basically to actually make prediction about future outcomes, as the name implies. Prediction about future outcomes. And the methods includes regression models, time series forecasting, machine learning algorithms. An example includes having a survey to calculate the percentage of satisfied customers. This one is basically very interesting, especially when you're analyzing things on GIS basically. Then we have other types which include prescriptive analysis. This suggests action on decision based on data analysis. Method includes optimization models, decision trees, and simulation, all like that. Example includes recommending the best product pricing strategy based on customer behavior and market trend. Also, we have exploratory data analysis, EDA. We are going to be using Python and all that for this one. Basically, this is the use of visuals, because in analysis, basically, we are going to be doing cleaning, visualization, and all like that. In it, let's just understand this one. We'll go into that as we move into the class. Now, methods in exploratory data analysis include box plots, histograms, scatter plots, and others like correlation matrices. Now, example includes visualizing data with graph to spot trends or outliers. Before conducting more formal editing and all like that. So as we go on, we get to understand all these types of analysis, because as a data analyst, you will get to meet different data, and the analysis is dependent on the objective, as we have said before. So it can be prescriptive, it can be predictive, it can be descriptive, it can be exploratory, you get. But as we go into the deeper part of analysis, we get to understand the types as we analyze. Let's move on. We also have univariate, bivariate, multivariate analysis. Basically, They're based on numbers of variables being analyzed. I repeat, the purpose is based on the number of variables being analyzed. For example, univariate analysis on single variable. By, like, you get two variables to understand the relationship between two variables. As you go on, you understand all this terms. Multivariate analysis is involving three or more variables. Let me give you an example now. Example of univariate analysis, the description, like okay, when you're analyzing something on age, the age of one person. Then bivariate is when you are considering age and then income, you get, or age and then gender. Now, multivariate analysis is when you have like three variables, when you're having age, income, educational level on the of some consumers, you get, or you say income, age, or gender of some consumers. That's that on that. Now, also we have, this is very deep. These two are very deep. We have qualitative and quantitative analysis. Yes, qualitative and quantitative analysis. Now, the purpose basically of qualitative is non-numerical, while quantitative data actually involves numerical. Now, qualitative analysis actually analyze data that are numerical, such as images, audio, focusing on meanings, themes, patterns, like that, text and all like that. While quantitative analysis actually involves numerical data, statistical techniques, checking of trends, like that. Okay, examples include analyzing interview transcripts to understand customer satisfaction. That is for qualitative analysis. Then quantitative analysis, analyzing survey data to calculate percentage of satisfied customers. So let's move on. Now, the next thing we'll be talking about is data analysis cycle or process. Now, this process basically, as a data analyst, must be your watchword. If you look at it basically like a circle that you cannot jump one for one. No, you start with one and then we end with the last one. So this circle actually carries on every aspect of data analysis: prescriptive, descriptive, any aspect of analysis. So you have to understand this process. Apart from getting to understand that data analysis is when you collect your data, you clean them, you interpret them, you do this. Is the major circle you'll be going on and on. Although you have to understand the theoretical, we will do it practical. Now, the first thing is the ask. The next one is collect. Now, I'll be explaining them after the slide. But I need to understand it. The first thing you ask, say it after me: ask, good. Say collect, good. Say prepare and clean, good. Explore, good. Analyze, good. Interpret, then communicate. I'll repeat it again. Ask, can we say ask together? Good. Collect, prepare and clean, explore, analyze, interpret, then communicate. Good. Now let me explain everything so that it can actually sink, because this is what we need to know when we are analyzing anything. Let's move on to the next slide. The first one, ask. Now, for the asking process, basically, this is a process where you actually ask questions based on your objective, based on what you want to carry out. Now, I'm going to give you two instances of this. If you are carrying out a research and you find, okay, fine, I want to work on this project, you must first ask yourself, what is my aim and objective, so that you will not analyze amiss. You have to ask yourself, what is my aim and objective? You cannot just, okay, I want to analyze. No, you have to ask yourself, write it down. If you're working on a project, you write it, okay, this is my aim and my objective, so that you will not just be analyzing without getting the main points of the analysis. Also, let's assume you are working with some set of companies, and then you are told to analyze. You need to ask questions, probably from your board of governors. What do you want? What are your KPIs, your key performance indicator? Some might, okay, probably if you have been working with the company, you may actually know your KPI. But if you don't know, you ask. You must know the objective of any analysis you are doing. So you must ask any of your board. Fine. You must ask yourself, so that your analysis tallies with your objective. So we don't just analyze. No, we don't. We analyze to solve specific problems. Now let's go on. The next one is where we collect data, gathering of relevant data from various sources. Now, when we get to the next class, I'll be explaining how we gather data, different types of data, how we gather it from the web, from published papers online, from government, from data, from data website like that, Cargo, in GitHub and all like that. You get to get that. Then we can actually do like the one, those are primary ones like that. You do your survey, you understand. Now, in analysis, after you have asked your questions, okay, this is a problem we are solving, you collect your data. So your collection of data can be from your own source, probably online, or probably from the company. There's a company that actually restrict their data. They don't publish all data. You understand? There's some things like in banking sectors, they publish their financial reports like virtually every year, but they don't publish some things. You understand? So you have to get your right data for your objective after you have asked yourself. Now, the next is you prepare and clean. Now, for every analysis, for every data you are going to be getting, your data cannot, no matter how it looks so clean, you have to prepare it, look into it, check your data type. You understand what I'm saying? Or you understand what I'm saying later on, because data type actually differs like that. So I'll be teaching us all those ones in the next class too. So that's why you must not miss next class. You don't have any excuse to miss the next video. Now, you prepare it, you remove errors and inconsistencies, so that your work can actually work out smoothly. You understand? As we go in, also we have to explore, like you have to just check your data. If it's balanced, you check through your columns and rows like that to check in initial analysis. That one might not be told to just check around. We understand where we're going to other one. Then we go to the next one, you analyze. That is where you need analysis method to interpret the data. So after you ask your question from your objective, you have collected the data, you have cleaned it, you have explored, okay, fine, this and this should be in place like that. Let's create this one. Because there are some places where you have to actually have calculated values. You understand later. Calculated values. So when you have done that, you now analyze based on your aim and objective. Then when you analyze them, you now interpret. Very, very important. Very, very important. You have to draw conclusions from your analysis. You have to understand them. Then you have to review your understanding. You have to review them. You have to reveal it. It must be known. You have to interpret it. So it's not about, okay, I got the data, I cleaned it, it makes sense, it looked nice. No. Conclusions have to be made. Decisions are going to be made. So you have to interpret it based on your method of analysis. Then the last thing is, this one is very important. You have to communicate. Now, apart from analyzing your data and interpreting it, you have to communicate your findings through a report, through presentation and visualization. We are going to be using Power BI or Tableau for visualization. Basically, those are powerful tools for visualization. Excel too can do visualization. Yes, you can use Excel for visualization. Use Excel too. So, but there are some tools like that. We are going to. I'll tell us the basic function, the primary function of all those tools. But some tools can actually do 2 or 3 things together based on your interest. But what we are trying to say here, what I'm trying to say here is that after you actually get your analysis done, interpretation, you need to communicate your analysis through reports into presentation and visualizations.